The Von Miller situation, you knew him in Denver very well. I ended up watching him and just kind of being blown away by it. Like, I was like, wow, he's got a lot in the tank. As somebody that covers the Broncos, were they surprised? Were you surprised how good he was?
I really wasn't surprised how good he was. I mean, he was the focal point in Denver for years, and he was the one guy, obviously Bradley Chubb. The year that Bradley Chubb was healthy, his rookie year, Bradley Chubb had 12 and a half sacks. I think Vaughn had 17 or something of that nature, or 14 and a half. So it was a great dynamic duo, if you would. Ultimately, I knew that Von Miller was healthy. Von Miller was really playing well. He just was double and triple teamed the whole time in Denver because he was the only focal point. Then all of a sudden you get on a team that has Leonard Floyd. You get on a team that has Aaron Donald. You get on a team that has, some defensive stalwarts like a Ramsey. And now you're no longer the focal point.
Yeah.
You're one of the guys.
Yep.
And so, I mean, 7 games, I think it was 7 sacks in his last 7 games.
Yep.
He was a one-man wrecking crew, and now all of a sudden he's going to be one of the hottest free agents out there.
Yeah, good for him. By the way, Denver's the focal point for Aaron Rodgers. I do not believe he leaves. I think it's harder to win there. I think, again, there's a story that he's torn. I think he's torn because he's got a lot of stuff he likes in Green Bay, but he looks at that Denver roster and all these receivers and Fant and the backs, and he's like, that's better than I've got here. In Denver on your show in the morning, is there a 50-50? Is it lean either way? Where is Denver this morning on Aaron?
I think there's a lot of people. I think there's a 50-50. There's a lot of people that would love, like myself, to see Aaron Rodgers finish his career in orange. They would love that. And there's a lot of people out there that are like, oh, the drama and all this, that, and the other. And I'd rather have a young quarterback like, Kansas City was able to do, Buffalo was able to do. Everybody looks at the success stories and they tend to not look at Tua in Miami, or they tend to not look at, Baker Mayfield or Sam Darnold or the guys that don't have that kind of success. So, there's a fascination with drafting somebody, watching that guy develop and explode on the scene and knowing that you're going to have him for the next 15 years. I don't mind renting a Hall of Famer and saying, hey, we'll win a Super Bowl that way too. So, I think it's probably pretty split. But I will say this about Aaron Rodgers. There's a lot of the drama queen talk, or there's a lot of selfish talk. And I've heard people talk about, he's costing the Green Bay Packers. Man, he's played for 17 years. He's a 4-time MVP, back-to-back MVP championships or back-to-back MVP awards. Like, you've earned the right to take your time to make a decision. It is not Aaron Rodgers' responsibility to manage the Green Bay Packers cap. That's not his deal. And as far as selfishness is concerned, I think a lot of his decision has to do with Devontae Adams. To sit there and say, well, he's selfish, to me, that's softer than well poop, that take, because I don't think he's selfish. I think a lot of this has to do with, I want to play with some of the guys that I want to play with.
Sure.
And this has been something that you guys haven't necessarily allowed. So it's not about money. It's about, are you going to honor that commitment as a franchise and say, take care of Devontae and I'll be back. And I think that's really more than anything what he's waiting on.
By the way, I don't think he's leaving. What do you think this morning?
Yeah, I don't think he's leaving either. I think that he's going to stay in Green Bay. I think he definitely, likes to have – I mean, listen, there's not very often as a professional athlete when you have leverage.
Yeah.
And he's earned the right to have that leverage. It doesn't happen. It happens to a select handful of people. And so for me as a former player, like, when you have that leverage, when you have that hammer, swing that damn thing.
Yeah.
Because I promise you, the majority of us never get it, and we are dictated to. Now that you have that leverage, you hung out, you redid your contract to give you that opportunity to say, I don't want to play here anymore. And I don't have a problem with him, kind of swinging that hammer, so to speak. But I do think he stays in Green Bay.
Yeah, I do too. So I got to ask you one question about the Combine. I don't think it's a great year for elite players. I think there's a bunch of good football players. There was a defensive lineman for Georgia that ran. He's 340 pounds, and he ran a 4.7. Everybody's just Jordan Davis. People are freaking out about it. What do you make of the Combine as a former Pro Bowler, multiple Super Bowls? What do you make of it?
It's a test of athleticism. And these guys leave college. They quit going to class. I mean, not all of them, but a lot of them quit, doing the school thing, and they go out and they train specifically for these athletic events. And I think it's foolish. That will be his last 40 that he'll ever run. If it's that important, if the 40 is that important, why will it be the last 40 that any of these guys ever have to run? Once you make a team and once you're playing the National Football League, you will never be asked to do the bench press test again. You will never be asked to do a vertical jump again. You'll never be asked to do a 40 again. Like, if it is that much of an indicator, why aren't we running them every year? Because it doesn't matter. It's, again, a test of athleticism. If you look at the best 40s in the history of the National Football League, like, the majority of the guys you never even heard of.
Right. You're right.
They're running a fast 40 or doing 225 for a lot of reps. You know what that indicates? That indicates that, one, you're a track star, or two, that you're really good at benching. It means it doesn't mean anything when it comes to being able to play the game or not. I played with a guy named Tommy Nalen, who probably should be a Hall of Famer. Tommy Nalen should be in the Hall of Fame. He was a great center. Weight room wise, he wasn't anything to write home about. He was never a great weight room guy. One of the strongest players on the field from a leverage standpoint that I've ever played with.
Yeah.
And so, like, it's not a great indicator. It's a great indicator on athleticism. It's not a great indicator on whether you can play or not.
Yeah. By the way, I will say this. The Georgia guys are all impressive at the combine. Like, you look at Georgia won the national title. You're like, they got a lot of guys that can run and a lot of guys that can lift. So congrats to Georgia, because they probably had the best weekend in terms of a program. Mark Schlereth, great seeing you, buddy, as always. We'll talk soon.
All right, Colin. Take care, buddy.
Hi, everybody. Thanks for watching. Subscribe here to get the latest from the show. Also, be sure to check out more of the best clips from The Herd, or go watch a few segments from other shows on FS1.